encoding. Encoding is where the brain begins to process the information we pay attention to.
The one that we are receiving.
Exactly. Encoding is processing the information. And then the inputs, that's the encoding. And the inputs could be in words, in text, picture, video. That is avenues and ways we learn. So it means that your focus attending can be on words, on text, on pictures,
images,
on videos, or something like that. So as it comes, are initially processed by the thalamus. So I'm talking about the part of the brain that is responsible for encoding. So the thalamus, which is the server, the thalamus is the server. Is the server. It handles incoming and outgoing signals. That's the thalamus. It handles incoming and outgoing signals. So simultaneously, these inputs are routed in other specific areas for processing. So as the information comes, if it is visual, when the brain when we pay attention and what we are paying attention to is visual, and it is received and encoded, it is distributed to the part of the brain that deals with visual. So with visual, that is, it goes to the occipital.
Okay.
And then when it comes to words and text, it goes to the temporal loop. It goes to the temporal loop. And then so vision inputs are rooted in the occipital loop, language in the temporal loop.
All right.
And then so as the information is distributed there, it also has to be processed for it to be stored.
That's after encoding.
Then storing comes in. Storing. Now, many of the inputs are held in the frontal loop, as I said, for short-term memory of 6 to 20 seconds. So if the information gets to the frontal loop, 5 to 20 seconds, if we don't process it, it just disappears. It fades. Let me use that word. It fades. But when we encode it, it then comes to the storing aspect. Now, when it gets to the storing aspect, most of these inputs are filtered and then dismissed without being memorized, as the inputs may be irrelevant, trivial. So some things that are irrelevant, trivial, it's just dismissed. You see, and then things that are not compelling enough, what we don't want to encode or store,
they are faded out.
Exactly, it's faded out. Now, the story comes in when the inputs are rooted and held in the hippocampus, and that is responsible for memory formation. The hippocampus. It is responsible for memory formation. And then classifying information or long-term memory, that's the hippocampus. So as it gets to the various, the occipital loop, either the occipital loop or the temporal loop, it then, when it moves to storing, it sends it to the
memory
hippocampus. That's the memory, the part of the brain that is responsible for memory. And then if the new learning or input is considered important, it is organized and indexed by the hippocampus.
Indexed?
Yes, indexed. I mean, it is stored. And then later stored in the cortex. So the hippocampus indexes whatever and then distributes it back to the responsible parts. Of the So you see that the initial processing takes few seconds. That is when we receive the words, the inputs, whether words or text. The temporal loop receives it, and then it gets to the hippocampus for storing. Then the hippocampus indexes it and then sends it back to the cortex.
Wow.
So that is.
So this is happening at the time that somebody's reading some notes.
Exactly. Exactly. So, and then we'll also look at the types of learning or how we learn.
Okay.
We'll also look at that. So the initial process takes place at lightning fast speed. It takes place. However, the subsequent stages and storage process can take hours, days, and even weeks.
Oh, okay.
So for the hippocampus to index and send it back
to the cortex,
it means it has to take hours. That is, so the hippocampus has to be the long-term memory. It means whatever we've learned, we must make sure it's indexed and it's in the hippocampus, but the hippocampus still distributes it to the respective parts of the brain for retrieval.
Okay. Wow.
For retrieval.
Okay.
So retrieval here basically is bringing out the, so that's the last stage. That is bringing out the stored information, which has led to a change in behavior. So when we are able to retrieve the information that have been processed and stored, then we say that there's a change in behavior. Learning has what taking place.
Right. So if you are not able to retrieve,
then learning has not taken place.
Then a lot of people don't learn.
So we say retrieval of stored information in the brain will determine the quality of input made. The quality of input. How was the input made? So we look at the types of learning, how people learn, and someone will tell you, when I learn I forget. So we look at reasons why when people learn they forget.
Okay.
And if time permits us, we also look at forgetting, and then the various types of forgetting, why people forget and all those things.
Okay.
Do we have more time?
Oh, let's do as much as we can. So the 4 stages, as we have the attending.
To end, retrieval can fail.
Oh.
Yes, retrieval can fail. That is, you've learned everything. So as I said, retrieval can fail. So we also look at why retrieval or what fail.
Okay. All right. So these are the 4 major steps involved in learning. You must attend to it.
Yes.
Then you receive.
Yeah, that's encoding.
Okay, so the receiving is with the encoding.
Yeah.
All right. Then now it goes to storage and processing.
Exactly.
That's with the memory formation.
Yes.
Then now you should be able to retrieve it.
Yes. Exactly.
Back. All right. There's a comment from Daniel. Daniel says, "Wow, good show. The man is deep."
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay. So, sir, let's move to the types of learning. Let's go there.
So, okay. Before I move to the types of learning, I wanted to talk about the types of memory, though. But
okay.
Let me move to the types of
okay.
learning and then
if they link, you could just make because of our time.
Okay. So memory.
Yeah.
Memory basically is the ability to receive, encode, or store, and then retrieve information. That is memory. And there are types of memory.
Okay.
There are types of memory, and so with the types, we have explicit memory or declarative memory, and then we have implicit memory. Now, the explicit memory, it is controlled consciously, intentionally, and flexibly. It involves some effort and intention. That is, with the explicit memory, we are intentionally trying to remember or recall or retrieve information from the memory. So, for example, writing an exam, or trying to dial a phone number, or you are filling a form and say GPS address. You are trying to say, hey, GPS address. So that is explicit memory. You are trying to remember, and then it is meditated in the hippocampus and frontal lobes. The explicit memory is meditated in the hippocampus and then the frontal lobe. So, for example, as I said, writing a text or learning a phone number when we were kids. You see, when we were kids, explicit memory. Okay, they would ask us 212 mental, 224, 236 mental.
Yeah.
Serious one.
You are prepared for it early in the morning.
Seriously, Monday morning, especially Monday mornings. I'm always not happy on Mondays. I never liked it. And because I was short, I'm always in front.
So you get the first starting.
Serious. And you see my last name, Agbolosu. I'm E. So if the teacher is using the register, I'm always the first called. So Monday mornings are not pleasant times for me. So explicitly try to remember or recall what we have encoded or stored in the brain. And then we have and then the explicit memory also has types. We have types of explicit. That's the episodic memory. With the episodic memory, it stores information about specific events or episodes related to one's own life. So, Sarah, like your wedding day, you see, it's episodic. You can remember your wedding.
Okay.
Or the first day you went to the senior high school, the punishment you received. A lot of people can remember. Because they like episodic, specific days.
Okay.
So your first day out of at the boarding school, your birthday party, graduation,
some anniversary, graduation,
And then we have semantic memory. It stores general knowledge. Semantic memory stores general knowledge. So, who is the president of Ghana?
Who is the president of Russia?
Put it in. So general knowledge. What's the highest mountain in Ghana?
Okay, semantic.
Yeah, semantic. So general knowledge. And then so that is the explicit or the declarative memory. Now we have the non-declarative memory. So the non-declarative memory is opposite of the declarative. See, the declarative memory is intentional. It's an intentional retrieval.
You do it,
Yes. But the non-declarative is unintentional. Something that you do without any effort. You see, for example, let's say you are chatting with someone. The things we write, the shots, you don't necessarily
think about them.
How you operate our gadgets in the house.
You
see, you don't need any intentional effort to recall them. So that is the non-declarative memory. And then there are types of the non-declarative memory. We have the procedural memory and then the classical conditioning. With the primary, that is a automatic or unconscious process that can enhance the speed and accuracy of a response as a result of past experience. That is the priming. That is because you have been exposed to that memory. A subsequent one, you'll be able to do it faster than the previous. So, for example, filling a form, let's say an online form, you filled yours and you are filling for someone. You can easily, because you know.
The memory is there.
Yeah, the memory is there. So that's the primary, that's the non-declarative. And then we have the procedural memory. Now, the process involved in completing a task after the task is well learned and has become automatic. So baking, playing football, playing piano, drumming, typing, you see, it's procedural. You don't need any efforts, but
it goes, it flows.
Yes, it flows. And then the classical conditioning by Pavlov is also, it has its place in the non-declarative memory. Some things that we have been conditioned with, like our ringtones. See, we have, so when you hear someone's tone that is similar to yours, you begin to say, is that my phone or something? Or our loved ones, we have a specific tone for them. So, and then you see, the first day you went to the senior high, the first bell, you didn't know what it was. The first siren, you didn't know what it was. But later, you realize that the first one is not pleasant. The second one is pleasant. The second one is for breakfast. The third one is for assembly. Fourth one is for first lesson. Fifth one, second lesson. The sixth one is for lunch. That one,
you're happy.
The most happiest one is the last one. Closing. So it is the same bell, but we discriminate. And it is because you have been conditioned to it.
Okay.
That's a condition and non-declarative. Now, Sarah,
yes.
With memory, okay. Listen carefully. coin, skate, church, fork, track, pocket, trial, flower, clock, bank, paint, time, deep, bed, sample, move, rain, pipe, fish, coat, metal, travel, grass, soap.
Memory. What has those words done?
Yes. So, can you write down the words that I mentioned? How many can you recall?
Soap.
Soap. Let me write it.
No, don't write.
Soap.
Clock.
Clock. Okay.
That's all. You didn't tell me to. You do this after.
Yeah. If I tell you, you pay. You focus.
Yeah.
On it. So you see that this is a sensory memory. So the information just came. It didn't process it. So 2 seconds or 150 microseconds.
Okay.
Is gone.
Okay.
It's not processed to the short-term memory. So you are now looking at the types, the stages of memory.
Okay.
You are done with the types of memory. Now you are going to the stages of memory, the sensory memory. That's where the memory receives information through the senses, basically. And then the ones that, and then as the sensory memory receives the information, it gets selective. The ones that it selects is what goes into the short-term or the working memory.
Okay.
And information stays in the sensory memory for 150 to 500 microseconds.
Okay.
For visual input, for visual information. And then 1 to 2 seconds for auditory information.
Okay.
So you see.
Yeah.
You are able to remember just 2 words.
Yeah. 2 seconds.
2 seconds. Just for all the words, I mentioned 20 words. Just 20. But you're able to mention just 2. So it's also another form of memory. Test.
Okay.
Average, you're supposed to remember 5.
Oh, I see. Ow.
Yeah. So with the working memory, we use to process information we are thinking about. That's the working. So the information the sensory memory selects goes into the working memory. And the working memory also, it operates consciously, and it allows 7 plus or minus 2 items to stay there, as in items that are not more than 7 or plus or minus 2 items
to stay there.
Stay. And then it stores information between 2 to 18 seconds. So when you pay attention, if you don't pay attention to it, the information will be in the sensory memory or the working memory for 2 to 18 seconds. If it is not processed, then
you lose it. Yeah.
And then we have the long-term memory. That is where the real encoding and the storing takes place. That's the long-term memory. And it's the system that encodes, stores, and retrieves information at the long-term memory, and it has to do with the hippocampus. How it's got something binding. I'll get there. So the way information is encoded critically influences later access to the information. So the way the information was encoded will influence later access to that information. So then, what are the factors that influence long-term memory? Include levels of processing. Okay, so then what are the levels of, how do we learn? What are some of the ways people learn? Some of the ways people learn.
Okay.
So one, we have, before I mentioned that, you see, before you learn something, you know what you want to know.
You decided what you are going to learn.
Exactly. So depending on what you want to learn will determine the type. What you want to study will determine the type of learning you would use or the process.
Okay.
But I always say that before I talk about the types, the ways people learn. I always say that before you learn, you have to first plan. I'm saying this to our students. Before you learn, you have to first plan, and then I always say that you must know your limits, your capacities. Is this one of the streets? Someone said I can learn for 4 hours. Some 1 hour, some 2 hours, some 3, some 4, some 5, and some 2. They don't have specific. They don't know a specific time they can learn. Some when with regards to the period. Some they wake up at dawn to study. Some they stay till late night. Some during the day. Some in the classroom. All these are ways
of studying.
Various ways people study. Okay, and some are visual learners. Some are auditory learners. Some people, whatever it is that they want to visualize it in their mind. I'm an example of that. Whenever I learn, I try to visualize. I like to visualize because if I visualize, it helps me.
Memory.
It helps my memory. So then, what are some of the
okay, let's do those ones quickly, and then let's do the major item, the brain.
So we have shallow processing.
Okay.
So you say shallow.
Okay.
That is just focus on physical features of the item rather than its meaning. Okay. So you are not interested in the meaning, just features. So the parts, for example, parts of the brain. You have the cerebrum. You just want to know about, not knowing
deep.
So the next one is the deep processing.
Okay.
So with the deep processing, it includes the shallow processing and then getting the meaning of the information. And then we also have timing of practice. Timing of practice. Now you see some people, they wouldn't study. They'll wait till time for exam, then they crumble everything together. That type of learning, we call it massed practice. Try to learn everything or try to learn large materials in one sitting. That is massed practice. And then we have space practice. That is giving time to everything to study.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes when institutions plan seminars, you see that a seminar is supposed to take like a week, and because of financial constraint, you try to put everything into 2 days, one day, 2 days.
Yeah.
So you sit from morning till evening. Sandwich, like the sandwich. The sandwich like this can be mass practice.
Oh yeah.
You have to push everything there by force. And then the space, let's take the space to be the regular type.
Okay.
Everything. And then we have self-reference encoding, another type of learning. Now, organizing or relating material to your own life and experience. And we say that this is it's also one of the best way to learn. After learning, you try to relate it to your own life or relate it to something you are familiar with. It helps with retrieval of the information. And then we have distinctiveness. That is, items that are unique from others are often remembered best. So when you're learning something and that thing is difficult, try to make it distinct. Try to attach something that will make it unique, so that when it's time for you to retrieve it, you remember the uniqueness of that thing and then it quickly pops up.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are trying to learn some principles or procedures, especially with pharmacology or microbiology. There are procedures and things you have to learn. If you leave one,
you miss it.
So you can use mnemonics. Okay, mnemonics.
Attach some things to it.
Exactly. And then when we're in school, sometimes some of the things we use the first letters to form a word, so that when it's time for retrieval, you just remember the word. Then you say, okay, the first C is this one. Actually, basically, the way I learn, if I learn this particular thing, I will picture the entire page in my mind. So I remember the words.
Picture.
Then I'll say that, okay, I'll picture, okay, cerebrum, this is where cerebrum was, this way. Then it helps me to. That is personally.
Okay.
So, and then we also have organization. With the organization, items are categorized. Organizing items by category will improve recall. That is, organizing them by category, not mixing them up. it improves recall. And then we have testing effect. After learning, you must test yourself to find out if you can recall. They said the best way to improve retrieval of information is overlearning. Overlearning is in terms of making sure that you learn whatever you are learning till it becomes perfect for you to recall it with little, not as in stressing the brain. I'm not talking about learning as in stressing the brain. The brain too can be stressed. Someone asks, can you go mad when you overlearn? No, you can't. There's nothing like when you overlearn you go mad. Just that when you stress the brain, the body will receive the consequences, and you may break down because of stress. Right? You know, stress, we have the positive stress and the negative stress. The positive stress releases neurons that boost or motivates you to do something. But with the negative one, it depresses you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Wow. That's exhaustive. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, sir. Because of our time.
So let me quickly move on to the brain exercises.
Yes, let's do. So what are they?
Yeah.
And what are its roles and functions? And if you can just give us practical.
Yeah, I'll give you practical. They are
brain exercise. Brain
So
exercise. Can we do it in like 5-6 minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So it's just the brain exercises. They are not far from what the audience, those that were interviewed, say. So the brain exercises are basically activities that we deliberately engage in.
Okay.
Or we voluntarily engage in to boost the brain activity or function.
Okay.
And also to boost memory.
Intentional activities.
Yes. Activities that we intentionally do. We plan for it.
Okay.
We plan for it. And there are a lot of activities.
Okay.
Lots of activities.
Okay.
But let me just mention a few. We have meditation.
Meditation.
Yes. That is, you focus calmly on yourself and everything that you have learned. Okay. You sit down quietly and meditate upon it. Try to replay everything. That is meditation. That is focusing attention in a calm, controlled way. Now, according to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health Research, they suggest that meditation may benefit the brain by slowing brain aging. When you meditate, it slows brain aging. And then we have visualize more. The next brain exercise. More visualize.
Okay.
That is forming a mental image to represent information.
Okay.
Whatever you have learned, try to visualize it. Okay. So when you visualize, you are trying to create a mental
image of what you read.
Whatever, yes. So a study by Pedilia and colleagues on decision making with visualization revealed that people can engage in visualization in their daily lives. That is, for example, before you set out for lectures, you can sit down and visualize the dress you wear, the bag you take, the books you take into your bag, the things you put in your bag. You just visualize them, and then how you come out from your hostel, how you walk to the hostel, to
classroom,
the lecture room, where the specific place you will sit. You can visualize all. So when you are doing that, you are trying to activate the brain to do things that it is yet to process.
Okay. And that's a form of exercise.
It's a form of
and usually that comes to us, but we don't. We just drop it. It's not necessary.
I do that a lot.
Okay.
I do a lot of visualizing, especially when I'm going to have a speech or like this or like this. I try to visualize how I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So visualizing helps a lot.
All right.
And then, so we said before going to so I've mentioned that, and then playing game. And the game, we have types of games like puzzle.
Okay.
Puzzle.
It should be puzzle.
Yeah, puzzles. It activates brain functions such as perception, mental rotation, working memory, and reasoning. Okay, because you are trying to figure out
where this should go.
Yeah. And then playing a maze.
Okay.
Trying to find your way out of something. Yeah, also. So games that
Stimulate the mind.
Stimulate the mind to put pressure on the mind to do something.
Okay.
Then socializing. It's also another form of brain exercise. Very, very, very important.
All right.
So necessary. That is interacting with close friends, families. You need to make time for that, but you must make sure it doesn't conflict or interfere with your time for learning.
Okay.
But it also helps. It boosts your when you make discussions and other things with people. You know, especially students, guys, socializing. Liverpool, Manchester United, fine, yeah. You are trying to engage the brain into something else.
Okay.
But as you engage, you must also engage the brain as you socialize. Something that also improve or force you to think, to say something.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And then socialization too, in its general sense, as in having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going out, sightseeing, all those things. The recent one the students went to, the hangout, is perfect.
Okay.
It's perfect.
All right.
It boosts brain function.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It boosts brain function. And then learning new skills. It also helps because you are learning something new. So as you are here, maybe you would like to learn how to make a pot. Okay. Mold a pot. It's a new skill. Yeah. And then another way to is increasing personal vocabulary. As when you are listening to radio, when you are listening to someone, the words they say, you put it down. When you're watching television, but it's also another form of brain exercise. And then learning a new language. That one is very, very important. They say bilingual intelligence. Someone with bilingual intelligence has good memory capacity. They are able to easily retrieve information because the brain has different language. It's exposed to different languages. And then listening to music. Good music
trains the brain.
Yeah, helps the brain. And then regular exercise.
Okay.
Regular exercise.
Normal.
Yeah, at least 30 minutes a day. At least 30 minutes a day. 5 times a week. Regular exercise also boosts the brain, helps the brain to function well.
Okay.
And then dancing. You learn new moves, not the static ones. Try to deliberately learn a new move. So as when you look at the structure here, you say music on the mind. So you see what the mind goes through when you're listening to music. All these things is going through the mind. The hippocampus, the cortex, everything is activated when you're listening to music. And then when you're dancing too, dancing, you listen to music,
and
you move with the rhythm, balancing. So those who, I always say that dancers are very intelligent people because the way they use their brain, the way they are able to balance their moves with the sound and everything to communicate meaning to the people, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's very, very much amazing. And then taking a deep breath, like breathing exercise.
Yeah.
It also
forms
stimulates
of brain.
And then one big important thing that is good for brain exercise is sleep. Sleeping is not an exercise, but it's good for the brain.
Sleeping. Ajay.
Sleeping. If you deprive the brain from sleep, it may break down. The function of the brain may reduce. For example, where yesterday night I was supposed to prepare some reports before 7 a.m. this morning, so I had to burn the midnight candle. I slept around 4 a.m. yesterday, and because I didn't want to sleep, I have to take coffee. Okay. Now right after taking the coffee, I realized that I was feeling sleepy. So I didn't sleep. I didn't go to the room to sleep. Because when I go there, it is impossible to come back. So I sat at wherever I was doing the report, and then just took a nap. However, before I took the nap, I have organized myself already. That the moment I wake up, I know that I'm looking for this information. This is where I'll get it. I'm looking for this is where I'll get it. I have organized myself already. Then whilst taking the nap, you are not just taking a nap. You are thinking about what you are trying to learn or do. So as you are sleep, as you are relaxing, the brain is just organizing all these things. So when that 1 hour 30 minutes rest, when you wake
as
up,
soon as you get back,
it gives you an extra
okay.
2 hours.
Okay. You just reorganized yourself.
Exactly.
And then you came back
Sharp.
all right.
So basically there are a lot of things,
Wow
exercises you can do, and it's out there. When you
Okay.
go to them, you get. But now practical brain exercises. So with the practical brain exercises, you have quite a number of them. Some of them I can do some.
Yes, just
Some of them.
all right.
So
Listeners will be on our IG page. I think we are live on Facebook. So at PENTHEALTH,
Okay.
those who are live can just.
So you see, when we were kids, our parents, when they put something on a coal pot, say, "Bebojan, come here."
Yes, fan the fire.
Fan the fire.
Yeah.
So who watch them? Then you say nunu. So I call it Papa and I call this one Papa and a nunu.
Okay.
So whilst you are staring, you be fanning at the same time.
Yes.
So try doing it. No, stare and fan at the same time. So use your right hand to stare and your left hand to fan. You see. So then you do it faster. You see, sometimes you end up staring with both hands, and then you switch.
Okay.
Switch. Now the left hand will stare,
It will
and
stare.
then the right hand will fan. Okay. So Reggie, you are doing well. Good. So that's the first practical exercise.
Also, when you do this, you actually
exercise. Yes.
Okay. Your ability to do that.
Yes.
And then do
Fan,
this
exactly.
fan also. Okay.
Good. And then another one is tap and sweep. Now you raise your left hand up, palm up, and then make a fist with your right hand, and then place the fist, your right fist on your right chest. Good. And then your left palm on your left side, and then the fist hits your chest repeatedly, and then whilst hitting you can hit you. So these are practical. It's quite impossible, right? But some people are able to do it.
I'm going to say.
And then we also have the opposite shoulder move. So as you are moving your right hand clockwise, try and move your left hand anti-clockwise.
Okay.
It's quite difficult.
Okay.
So all these are, but if you're able to do it, it has to do with the hemisphere of the brain trying to coordinate the left side and the right side.
Yeah.
So with this one, it also has to do the hemisphere.
Yeah, and then you switch the roles to.
Switch the roles. Okay, so we have open and close. Okay. Open, close.
Oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Faster. Okay, then let's do counting. Open your palm, both palms, and then you use your thumb to touch all the fingers.
Okay.
So you start with the pinky finger, the small one. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 3, 2, 1. So we do it faster.
Okay.
So it's also another form of practical.
Wow.
And then there's another one. This one is very simple. This one.
Okay.
So you put your hands together like a joining two, and then you lift one finger, one part, and then the other simultaneously. You do it simultaneously. Yeah, faster. You do it faster.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have roundabout. Roundabout. Put your fingers together like this, like in a form of prayer. You want to pray, but this time don't put the palms together. Open it, but let the fingers touch each other. Now you wiggle the thumb round. You roll it round.
Okay.
And you do it faster, and then you go to the next finger, the index finger. You roll it. Then you go to the middle one. You roll it. And then go to the ring, the one.
Oh, when you are rolling, these ones must be touching.
So it's quite difficult. And then the pinky one too. So that you roll both. You roll all the fingers like that.
Wow.
One by one. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then I think basically these are some.
These are. All right. Practical brain exercises we can do. All right. The videos will be uploaded on our IG page. I think we are live on Facebook, so those who were on Facebook could watch us. All right, Sir Chris, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our time is fast spent. Oh, this was really exhaustive. I could tell, as you told me. But I think you've done justice to it. If anybody followed us, they would have learned something. I've learned a lot, and with the practical brainers, I can appreciate it. Just activities that will help the coordination, as in make you be able to use both parts of your brains very well, boost them. Okay, Sir Chris, thank you so much for coming to grace our show. Listeners, this has been PENTHEALTH on PENTVARS Radio 96.1. It's time to go. Our time is up. It's been brain exercises. We'll put short clips on this on Instagram, on Facebook, on our WhatsApp status, so you can follow and like and continue with the education. So we'll come your way next week with yet another exciting show from all of us in the production studio. We want to say, practice brain exercises, focus, receive, encode, storage, and then have good retrieval system. All right, we'll see you next week. It's bye for now.